Hi, this is Kendall Boyson, professional life and recovery coach, and you're listening to Encouragementology, the practice of instilling hope. Hi there. Thanks for joining me. On this show, we are turning dreams into reality as we take action to live our best lives. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "One day I'm going to," or "I wish I could," only to let time slip by without taking action? Maybe you've dreamed of starting your own business, writing a book, switching careers, or finally diving into that passion project you can't stop thinking about. But somehow, between responsibilities, self-doubt, and the comfort of routine, those dreams get placed on the back burner. And the longer they sit, the easier it is to convince yourself that now just isn't the right time. But let's be real. If we wait for the perfect time, we might be waiting forever. So what's really holding us back? Is it fear? Lack of direction? The security of staying where we are, even if it isn't fulfilling? Today, we're going to uncover the real reasons we stall on our dreams, and most importantly, how to break through the hesitation and take action. Because here's the truth. The difference between I wish and I did is action. And that doesn't mean making a drastic leap overnight. It means taking one small, intentional step in the right direction. Whether you're looking to reinvent your career, start a side hustle for joy rather than money, or simply make progress towards something you love, this episode is for you. Let's talk about the power of forward motion. Break out of the predictable patterns that keep us stuck and create a real, scalable plan to move from dreaming to doing. It's time to get up and get going. Before we can talk about how to take action, we need to understand why we don't. Because let's be honest, if simply having a dream was enough to make it happen, we'd all be living our best lives by now. But there are real psychological and emotional roadblocks that keep us stuck in the wishing phase instead of moving into the doing phase. Like fear of failure. What if I try and it doesn't work? This is one of the biggest reasons people hesitate to take action. We worry that if we put ourselves out there and it doesn't work, we'll feel embarrassed, disappointed, or like we wasted our time. But let's flip that thought. What if you try and it does work? What if instead of failure, you gain experience and resilience and new opportunities that you never even imagined? The truth is, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey to success. Sometimes we have a fear of success, like what if it works and everything changes? Surprisingly, some people fear success just as much as failure. This is known as the Jonah complex, where deep down we're scared of the responsibilities, expectations, or lifestyle shifts that come with achieving our goals. We might wonder, will I actually be able to handle it? What if success takes me out of my comfort zone? But staying small out of fear of what might happen is no way to live. Instead, imagine how your life could change for the better when you start saying yes to your potential. Maybe you have comfort in the routine, like, I've done this for so long, I don't know how to do anything else. If you've been in the same role, industry, or routine for years, stepping outside of that can feel overwhelming. You might think, I wouldn't even know where to start, or I'm too old, or it's too late to change now. But growth doesn't require you to throw away everything you've built. It simply means opening yourself up to new possibilities. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to take the first step. Maybe you're struggling with the lack of a clear plan. I don't know what to do first. Sometimes dreams feel too big or abstract, making them hard to act on. If your goal is just, I want to start a business or I want to write a book, it's easy to get stuck because that's just too broad. Instead, you need to break it down into smaller, actionable steps. What's the first thing you need to do? Research? Find a mentor? Take a class? When we chunk big goals into manageable pieces, they feel less intimidating and more achievable. Maybe you have the I don't have time excuse. Yes, life is busy. It is for everyone. Between work, family, and daily responsibilities, finding extra time can feel impossible. But the truth is, we make time for what's important to us. If you can carve out even 15 to 30 minutes a day to work towards your dream, whether that's brainstorming ideas, networking with others, or just practicing a skill, you're already further along than you were yesterday. Progress doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be consistent. Your dreams deserve more than someday. Recognizing these barriers is really the first step to overcoming them. None of these reasons are real stop signs. They're just mental roadblocks that can be moved with the right mindset and action plan. From the start, I had entrepreneurial aspirations. Not really sure why that is. I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. My father was a professor and my mother a stay-at-home mother, but as early as I can remember, I was creating opportunity. Not everything was a moneymaker or even successful, but that wasn't really the most exciting part for me. It was the idea that turned into action. I saw opportunity everywhere. Funny story. For instance, my neighbors were out of town and we had a big storm in my neighborhood. This took down a very large tree in their backyard. After an initial inspection, I decided it would be cool to give the neighborhood children a tour for a small entrance fee. After coming up with some compelling and elaborate stories about each nook and cranny of the falling tree, we gave tours all day and made enough money to walk downtown and treat ourselves with some goodies. Now, I realize there's a time and place for any genius idea, so I'm not suggesting checking the Weather Channel for the next big storm, but I tell this story to say, what can you engineer from just a creative thought? Let's take a moment for some real self-reflection. Grab a pen and paper or open your notes app and jot down your answers to these questions. Number 1, what is a dream or passion you've been putting off? Think about something you've always wanted to do, but haven't pursued it yet. Number 2, what fears or doubts have been holding you back? Be honest with yourself. Acknowledge any fear of failure, fear of success, or comfort in routine that's keeping you from taking action. Number 3, what small step can you take this week toward that dream? Identify a manageable action that moves you closer to your goal, whether it's just researching, networking, or dedicating time to your passion. Reflecting on these questions can help you understand what's holding you back and help you to move forward. What if the real reason you're not chasing your dreams isn't fear of failure, but fear of change? Let's meet Bryn from Bryn on the Road, who explores how our deepest anxieties aren't about falling short, but about stepping into the unknown and letting go of the familiar. Bryn said, "I still remember that day. We'd just finished our Christmas holidays. It was the first week back at work, a Tuesday morning, January 11th, 2011, 9:06 a.m., not to be specific or anything. I walked into my boss's office and asked if I could have a minute. We sat down and I just told her, I'm going to leave this year. I think by April or May, I'll be gone. She could see my decision was pretty concrete and didn't bother trying to change my mind. Well, thank you for letting me know. What are you going to do? Funny thing was, I didn't actually know. Travel was at the top of my list, but I still had thoughts of maybe finding a new job overseas, volunteering, or maybe going back to study. I was still weighing all my options. But I walked out of my boss's office that morning feeling really good, confident. I knew this was the right thing to do. In a lot of the emails I get, people use the word brave. Oh, you were so brave to quit your career like that. How brave of you to leave all that work behind and travel the world. I wish I could be brave like you. But braveness was never part of the picture. I wasn't lying in bed thinking, come on, be brave, Brendan, just quit. It was a relatively easy decision. I didn't quit my job, I quit. And I don't think it was my job in particular that I hated. It was the whole idea of a job. I'm pretty sure if I had worked in any other accounting firm in any other country on the planet, I would have hated it just the same. Quitting, then, had nothing to do with braveness. Braveness is only required when you're afraid. I wasn't afraid of quitting. I was afraid of staying. How could I wake up every morning, be totally unexcited about every single thing I was going to do that day, spend 8 hours doing it, spend 2 hours sitting in traffic, sleep too little, wake up the next day knowing this was going to be my life for the next 35 years, and not be afraid? That terrified me. Staying was a lot scarier than quitting. One thing many of you don't know is I wasn't actually allowed to quit my job back then. When you go through a chartered accounting program, there are a lot of fees. You have a membership fee, application fee, exam fees. I had just completed my qualifying year. Workshops, tests, a big 6-hour qualifying exam, which cost around $5,000. The company covered it, but also made me sign a 12-month bond. At the time, I still had 6 months left, but I couldn't stay there any longer. I handed in my resignation and agreed to pay them back. I ended up paying my boss $2,500 to let me quit. She chopped it right off my final paycheck. $2,500. Poof. But for me, that was worth every cent. $2,500 or 6 months of my life. I'll take life. Sometimes I wonder if I'm really seeing things so differently than everyone else. Maybe I'm just more impatient than them, or intolerant. Entitled? I don't know. It baffles me how people can spend decades in careers they don't like. Why can't we see that it's a prison? You have to wake up at a certain time each day or you get in trouble. You have to show up on time or you'll get in trouble. You have to do work you don't like every day or you'll get in trouble. You have to eat lunch when your boss tells you to or you'll get in trouble. You can't go on holiday or you'll get in trouble. You have to say the right things or you'll get in trouble. You have to wear the same clothes as everyone else or you'll get in trouble. I guess you at least get to choose the color sometimes. And for all your trouble, you get paid just enough so you can afford a roof and food and a car to get you to the office and back. Then, if you wait your turn and stay in line and smile, you might get a day off every 10 years, rewarded for good behavior. We all have somewhere else we'd rather be. So why aren't we there? For some reason, we'd rather stay in prison. But the real crazy thing is we can leave. We can leave anytime we want, but we stay. We show up again on Monday and we stay. Why do we stay? We're all afraid of what's outside the box. But we can't be afraid forever. We owe ourselves something better. All these other things we want to do, we owe it to ourselves to at least try. Maybe you want to open a surf shop, so go on, open it up. Go bankrupt in 3 days. Great. Now go back to prison. At least you tried. Did you ever get told that as a kid? It doesn't matter if you don't win, as long as you tried your best. That still applies as an adult. Try your best. Staying in the job you don't like because you're scared, that's not trying your best. Opening a bankrupt surf shop, much closer to trying your best than sitting in a cubicle thinking about it. And you know what? Even if it was a crappy surf shop, you can still try again and do better next time. I'm sure you got told that one too. We tend to live in a world of scarcity. I'm not sure why we do this, because the world is abundant in everything we'll ever need. Go to the supermarket. Look at all the food. Take a guess at how many years it would take you to eat every single thing in that supermarket. 5? 10? And that's just one supermarket out of hundreds of millions on the planet. How is it possible to starve in a world with so much food? Think about how many dollars are out there. How many trillions upon trillions of dollars are floating around? You don't need trillions. You only need like $50 a day. Out of all those bazillions of dollars in the world, you only need like 1 or 2 million and you'd be set for life. Then people worry about jobs all the time. What if I can't get another job? Do you know how many jobs are out there? I'll tell you exactly how many. A lot. You don't need a lot. You just need one. In a world of abundance, quitting your job isn't scary. It's only scary because you focus on the negative. You focus on the scarcity. What if you focused on the positive? Instead of visualizing yourself opening up a bankrupt surf shop, envision yourself opening a good one. Maybe not even a good one, just an okay one. Might even turn a profit. Then your profit gets bigger and you need to hire employees. Then you hire someone to manage it for you while you go on holiday. Where are you going on holiday? I don't know, Morocco? You go surfing in Morocco and you realize there's no surf shop there. Maybe you can open one. You open one. You rent out all of your boards on the first day. You need to buy more. You call the manager at your shop back home. Give him a pay raise on the spot and tell him to manage the shop for 6 months. You're staying in Morocco. 5 years later, you have surf shops in California, New Zealand, Morocco, Australia, Portugal. Your business has expanded to include hostels and tours. You're thinking about opening in Norway next or Denmark. Maybe Denmark. Someone told you they have really good hot dogs in Denmark. Days after your Denmark shop opens, a big tourism conglomerate offers to buy your company for $3 million. You decline. You want $8 million. They say, sure, we'll give you $8 million. You sell and get married to a sexy Moroccan and open up a mint tea shop in the middle of Casablanca. Why can't you envision that? Why is that impossible? In a world of abundance, quitting your job is not scary. Not giving yourself the chance to get your mint tea shop ending, that's scary. Sitting there at 75 thinking, man, what if I just tried to open that surf shop when I was 31? That's terrifying. Maybe your surf shop does do miserably and you go begging for your job back. I agree. That doesn't sound like fun. But is that really what you're afraid of? You're staying in your cubicle because you're afraid you might fail and end up in a cubicle? In the English language, I believe that's what we call an excuse. Maybe what you're afraid of is the success. Maybe you're scared of being more successful than you ever imagined. Your mega insane surf shops means that you now have to be an employer. You have to hire an accountant and a lawyer and worry about your customers smacking themselves in the face with their boards and suing you. You have to negotiate multi-million-dollar deals with big companies and learn how to register companies in foreign countries and pay taxes in 5 different currencies and actually make decisions that affect other people's lives. People often say they're afraid of failure. That's why they stay in the cubicle. But what they're really afraid of is the success. That's why they stay in the cubicle. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. There is nothing to fear out there. At least, nothing scarier than the things you already face every day. Stop being afraid. Stop living in scarcity. Because living in scarcity means you only ever see obstacles. Oh, I have to pay $2,500 to quit? Oh, I might not find another job? Oh, my idea is stupid? Oh, everyone will think I'm dumb. Oh, I have asthma. Oh, I saw a donkey fall over back in February, and that means I'm going to fall over too. Everything you've ever wanted is out here in abundance. You want $1 million? It's here, just floating around. $1 million probably goes through your local supermarket every day. You want a new job? Great. There's billions of them. You want to travel? Cool. Lots of planes taking off today. Lots of countries with airports. When you think of the bad things, that creates fear. That's why you're afraid. Instead, think of the good things that could happen. Imagine yourself succeeding. Imagine yourself happy. That creates excitement, energy, motivation. And that's how you should always be thinking, because if you pursue something real, nothing bad is going to happen. Life is not going to get worse. It only gets better. I can prove it. Over the years, I've conducted a study, super scientific, peer-reviewed by my left eye and my right eye. Here are my super scientific results. The number of people I've heard say, I quit my job as a lawyer to go traveling and my boss keeps begging me to come back, but I can't because I just started my own art store and now I'm writing a book and life is so cool. A lot. The number of people I've heard say, I quit my job at the store and I went traveling and then I came home and now I have another job at the store. Quite a lot. The number of people I've heard say, I quit my job as a nurse to go traveling and I hated it. So I went home and I tried to get another job as a nurse, but every single nursing job in the whole world was taken and now I'm homeless and I'm going to die. 0. I get it. It's safe to stay in the nest. It's easy. You can't fail there. You can't succeed there. Life is worry-free. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares. You can just hum along peacefully until 0. But one day, and I can guarantee you this with every single tax return I've ever done, and I've done a lot, you will wonder why you didn't reach for the stars. You will wonder why you didn't write your story when you had the chance. Don't let your fears become chains, and don't let your dreams become regrets. I love his outlook. And maybe you don't quit your job today, but you can definitely look at it differently. You can definitely open up your mind to the possibilities and see if fear is really playing a part in why you aren't making the move that you want to make. Have you ever heard of Deepak Chopra? He's a prolific author of over 50 books with 13 bestsellers on mind, body, health, quantum mechanics, spirituality, and peace. A global force in the field of human empowerment. Chopra suggests that admitting we don't know what the future holds can be liberating. allowing us to take that first step towards our goal without being paralyzed by the unknown. By embracing the adventure and seeing where life leads, we can overcome the fears that are holding us back. So Deepak was asked, I have this big dream that I want to fulfill, but the thing is, I'm terrified. Fear is what's holding me back. I love what I want to do, but at the same time, I procrastinate to avoid the huge anxiety which always leaves me in the same place. So I don't really know what to do. This is my purpose. My heart is in this dream. But if I keep procrastinating, I'm never going to actually achieve it. What should I do? His response: your fear is telling you that if you act, then you will fail or be judged harshly in some way. So you believe you're saving yourself the pain of failure and rejection by avoiding action. The fact is, you don't know what the future will be, and your fear is lying to you by telling you that it does know the future. That in itself should be enough to show you that fear is never a reliable guide, especially when it comes to pursuing your dreams. Secondly, consider the anxiety, discomfort, and emotional turmoil this present state of fear keeps you in. It hasn't spared you from pain at all. Instead of helping you avoid potential future pain, it has actually put you in present agitation and paralysis. That also shows you that listening to fear is always bad advice. Admit that you don't truly know what your path forward will be, but you know for certain what your present is and will continue to be as long as you are guided by fear. Go ahead and act with the understanding that it's okay to admit you don't know the future. Begin your adventure and see what your life unfolds. All right, now that we've identified the barriers holding us back, it's time to do something about it. Because let's be real, knowing we're stuck is only helpful if we use that awareness to take action. So if you've been sitting on an idea, waiting for the right time or the perfect plan, consider this your sign that the best time to start is now. You don't need a full roadmap. You just need to take the first step. Let's break it down into real doable actions that will get you moving forward. Number 1, reframe your mindset. Start before you're ready. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that people wait until they feel ready to take action. But the truth is, no one ever feels 100% ready. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, perfect skill set, you'll be waiting forever. Instead of asking, am I ready? Ask, what's one small step I can take today? Progress isn't about perfection. It's about momentum. Number 2, make it small and manageable. A dream like starting a business or changing careers can feel massive and overwhelming. Instead, break it down into micro steps. If you want to start a blog, your first step isn't writing 50 posts. It's actually choosing a topic. If you're thinking about changing your career, your first step isn't quitting your job. It's researching options or taking an online class. Do you have a creative project in mind? Your first step wouldn't be to finish it. It's setting aside 15 minutes to brainstorm. When you shrink a big goal into bite-sized steps, it suddenly feels possible. Number 3, schedule it. Like actually put it on your calendar. We all have that thing we say we want to do, but never actually make time for it. If your dream matters, it deserves a spot on your schedule, just like a work meeting, a doctor's appointment, or laundry day. Pick a specific time, not just someday to work on it. Even if it's just 20 minutes a week, consistent action adds up faster than waiting for a free weekend that never comes. Number 4, get comfortable with imperfect action. If you struggle over overthinking or perfectionism, this one is for you. You don't need a flawless plan to start. You just need to start. The first attempt won't be perfect, and that's okay. Messy action is better than no action. The more you do, the more you learn, adjust, and improve along the way. Number 5, surround yourself with the right people. Ever notice how being around driven, motivated people make you feel motivated? Find a community that supports your goals, whether that's an online group, a local meetup, or just a few friends who hold you accountable. Surrounding yourself with people who get it can be the boost you need to keep going. The bottom line is, take the first step today. The hardest part of the journey is the beginning, but the longer you wait, the further away your dream stays. So here's your challenge. Choose one action, no matter how small, that moves you closer to your goal, and commit to it today. Because the difference between someday and success isn't luck, talent, or timing. It's taking the first step. My children like to joke that I have a habit of turning everything into a business, and honestly, they're not wrong. I've always had a knack for seeing opportunity in my hobbies. One minute, I'm enjoying a new craft, and the next, I'm brainstorming ways to sell it. But over time, I realized that the quickest way to drain the joy from something is to turn it into a production line. These days, I still love attending craft fairs, partly to justify my Hobby Lobby addiction, but I'm no longer driven by the need to monetize everything I create. Now, I embrace the simple pleasure of doing things just because they make me happy, not because they make me money. At Observing Leslie, I found how the obsession with monetizing hurts us. Leslie says, I can only confidently speak to this in American culture, though perhaps you'll find it elsewhere. Once you pick up an activity that you love, that compels you through interest and passion to invest energy, time, attention, precious resources, if not our most precious, people will suggest you monetize it. They mean that you should take this activity and find a way to get paid to do it. This comes up for me regularly with yoga. You should teach. With my blog, you should sell ads or rent your mailing lists or get people to give you stuff for reviews or mention products and services and destinations for commissions. With the advice and mentoring I've given and continue to give to people in business, you should charge an hourly fee for sharing your hard-earned experience. In some cases, monetization could make a good deal of sense. If someone loves baking, for example, and people love what they bake and ask them to bake for parties and events on a weekly or even a monthly basis, pushing them to undertake the activity more from obligation than out of pure love and enjoyment, then perhaps at least finding a way to recover costs for materials makes sense, if not asking for time compensation as well. But when you undertake something as much for you as for anyone else, even if other people love what you do, and if you find it interesting and exciting and compelling and intrinsically rewarding, then monetizing it more often than not reduces it. Suddenly, what you did out of enjoyment must be marketable, and you must market it. You need to calculate the time and the energy and the out-of-pocket costs that ensure you gain as much, or you hope as much, as you give. Then you need to promote it, even in the simplest ways, to bring in enough customers to cover the operations cost involved in the setup and marketing and accounting, and so forth. Suddenly, an activity undertaken for pure personal fulfillment becomes work, a job. Maybe it still fulfills you, and maybe work fulfills you in general at some level. but making your hobbies profit or even break-even centers alters them. Doing so subtracts the purity. In fact, even the suggestion that you shouldn't undertake an activity or a hobby for pure enjoyment, or that you shouldn't spend your time and energy on something without monetizing it, significantly reduces the value of the activity. It sullies it with the notion that you're wasting your time if you don't. Being silly, dilly-dallying rather than doing something of value. Culturally, society has shaped us to think of our time as money, a disturbing perspective when you muse on it. Therefore, people making this suggestion genuinely think, due to cultural training, that their suggestion will help you see another way you can diversify your revenue streams and turn your time into financial gain, or at least financial break-even, rather than realizing that you can profit from an activity in other ways than financially. Turning everything into money, turning everything into work, takes out the play, the fun, the discovery, the pure, unadulterated, uninhibited joy of it. The sheer doing of something for yourself, or for the world out of altruism, or both. After all, even with altruistic activities, we get something in return, don't we? So this is to anyone who happens upon it as a call to play. We encourage children to play. We see the value and the growth of play for children, right? The value and growth of play doesn't stop just because someone reaches a certain age. Adults learn, experience, try, succeed, fail, explore, encounter new people and places, discover themselves in the world, and grow through play too. By playing, the person who expands and evolves ends up with new capacities to bring back into the world. You expand through play as much or more as you were before. We have such limited time and attention in our lives. Use at least a little of it, if you can, to play. Gabby Bernstein is a best-selling author, motivational speaker, and spiritual coach known for helping people overcome fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs to step into their true potential. We're going to listen as she shares powerful insights on how to shift your mindset and take action toward the life you truly want.
Hey, Spirit Junkies, welcome back. I have a question for you. Is there something in your life that you've been talking about doing for years, maybe decades, maybe just a few months, but you just haven't actually shown up to do it? You know who you are. You know who I'm talking to. Well, I get it all the time. There's so many people in my world that are just talking about wanting to start that blog or start that business or get into that relationship or get out of that relationship. And they're in this energy of, I want this, and talking about it, but not actually doing it. And I've seen this with a lot of my Spirit Junkie Masterclass alumni, and I'm very proud to say once they go through that training, they come out and actually begin to do and show up. And so there's a commitment that we have to make, a desire, a deep, deep, deep desire to show up and step in. And I've seen this with a lot of my alumni, that they go through this experience of just struggling to say yes, and struggling to show up, and struggling to actually do that thing that they've been talking about doing for so many years. And so I want to give you the number one tool to actually get into action. And it's a very, very simple practice, and it's best that we keep it simple, because the more we think we need to do, the more we don't do it. So let's just really get into what it is that we can do to just take that action. It's this, very simply put, just do it without any expectation. So to get into the action of doing the thing that you've been talking about doing, do it, just do it, like that Nike ad, without any expectation. Just do it for the goal of doing it, not for the goal of getting money, or not for the goal of getting people to read the blog, or not for the goal of making sure that the guy that you go on that date with actually calls you back. Or if you're going to just do it and get on that social networking site that you've never been on before, just do it. Or if you're going to just do it and get on that dating site that you've never been on before. Just do it without any expectation. Once you take away the expectation and actually just get into the act of doing, the experience and the expression of the doing starts to put you into a new practice and a new energy. I have a coaching client who would often say to me that she just really didn't want to date. She was so afraid of dating. She was so uncomfortable with it. And so the homework I gave her was to just commit to me and to herself that she was just going to get on a dating site. Just signing up and putting herself on that dating site without any expectation of anybody writing her back, no expectation of having to go on a date, but just putting herself on the dating site put her into the action of doing. And within a week, she started getting a lot of little messages from those guys on that site because she was putting herself out there into the action of doing. And so the way that we can get into that action is by taking away the expectation. It's so simple and it's so fun and effortless and joyful to do without expectation. If you're wanting to put that blog up and don't even expect anybody to read it. Just put it up and just let it be up so that you can trust and feel the vibration of you having done that work. If you want to start to try to create a new career path and start making jewelry, make that jewelry with no expectation of trying to sell it, no expectation of trying to give people some reason to buy it, and just do it. Doesn't mean that you won't sell it. It doesn't mean that those dates won't come in. It doesn't mean that that blog won't be highly popular. But what it means is that you've gotten yourself out of the funk of stagnation and into the action of doing. This is a topic that blows my mind. It's one of the most important topics in my life. I think one of the greatest gifts that I've been able to give is the experience and the expression of getting people into action. And so to take you deeper into this topic, I want you to join me. I'm doing a free live 90-minute training on how to get into action and really make your moves in your life. So check out all the details in the link below for that live training. It's coming your way, and I cannot wait to get you seeing yourself in that experience of what it is that you're here to do. Let yourself off the hook, take away all of the expectation, and just do it. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
If you want to share Encouragementology with a friend who needs to know they're not alone in this journey of self-discovery, you can visit encouragementology.com or anywhere you stream your content to receive this episode and all others. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for additional encouragement throughout the week. So I challenge you, stop waiting for the right time and take the first bold step toward your dream today. Trust yourself, embrace the excitement of the unknown, and start creating the life you've been dreaming about. Because the only thing standing between you and your future is action. I know you can do it. Thank you for listening to Encouragementology with Kendall Boyson, where we find positive ways to handle some of life's challenges.
I stumbled through until the path was clear.